Making the carrying ID cards compulsory for everybody living or working in the UK would help reduce so many problems, including but not limited to voting fraud, antisocial behaviour, identifying victims and perpetrators of crime. What's your party's view on compulsory ID cards and why? And Mr. Henderson is going to start us off on this question. Thank you.
That's a good question. I don't think there's any specific element in the Green Party manifesto on that issue. There might be some policies somewhere. Generally speaking, the Green Party is a fairly libertarian-leaning party, so that kind of extreme security measure in the views of some would be something that the Green Party tends to lean away from. However, personally, I could see the personal, pragmatic, important elements of it, particularly with voter fraud, because if we do start exploring electronic voting, that is obviously going to be a factor that needs to be considered. I think it would probably be a good idea, to be honest. I think it would help the police in many ways if you did have compulsory ID. So I think I'd have to see some evidence-based policy put to me. I'd have to explore it properly. But speaking now, I'd say possibly in favour of it, but I would need to see the evidence.
Thank you very much, Jim. Okay, Mr. Watts.
I'm completely against it. There is no evidence that voter ID stops voter fraud. What it does do is deters people from voting.
That's right.
And the countries that have brought it in and the states in America that have brought it in have seen that those who don't vote are the poorest, the most marginalised, who often don't have access to ID. And in the same way, don't then get access to benefits. We already have it where, in this country, if you're wanting to claim universal credit, you have to go online to do it.
That's right.
But if you don't have access to a computer, how do you get your benefits?
That's
and it's
right.
an extension of that sort of mindset.
Yeah.
It's all about the wealthy, it's all about the powerful. It will not stop crime. I work in crime, that's my job as a solicitor. I've not once come across a situation in 32 years in the job where having an ID card would have stopped a crime being committed. Not once.
Okay, just 2 more seconds. Mr. Baggaley, and then I think we're going to have to finish on this question because we're running out of time quickly. And then I'll just finish off. So, Mr. Baggaley.
So, really quick, I mean, no, I'm completely against it. There is a reason why this is on the agenda, and it was raised by the Conservative Party as a suggestion. It is a terrible idea. It's straight out of the US playbook, the Republican playbook, and Linton Crosby, who involved in Tory campaigning for a long time. And its sole purpose is to disenfranchise people from voting. There is no problem with voter fraud in this country. If there is, they're investigated and dealt with. This is not an issue in our democracy. It's being done for the sole reason of disenfranchising people from the vote. That vote was won by working men and women of this country, and we should fight any attempt by this government or any Tory government to try and remove it. And just really quickly, so I think it's really important, the idea that the question about employment has come up several times. The amount of people working 2 jobs or working part-time has massively increased over the last 10 years. I've spoken to people time and time again in this constituency who are in work and in poverty. They are working every godsend, and yet they can't get out of poverty. That is not good enough, and it's not. We shouldn't be okay with it, and it's why we need to be about transformative change in our economy. Thank you.
Well, I don't support compulsory ID cards. It was a bad idea. It was developed by the last Labour government. They wasted hundreds of millions of pounds developing it, and then when we came in 2010 with the Lib Dems in the coalition government, we scrapped it. I think that was the right decision. For a range of reasons, it wasn't working as a programme, and it changes the relationship between you and the state into one which I personally don't support. So we have no intention of bringing them back into the future. Just to reply to the point that was just made about jobs, actually I think we should all be proud to live in such a vibrant town where unemployment is so incredibly low. There's only about 5 other towns in the whole country that have got unemployment as low as 1%.
Food banks, what's all that?
The economy in this area is thriving. We're attracting great investment from across the country. Let's keep that going. Let's not turn back the clock. We want this to be a town where people want to come, want to set up businesses. And as a government, we are are going to take steps to help people to earn more. That's why we've promised to increase the living wage, which we created, to £10.50 an hour, the largest ever increase. And real wages are now rising at their fastest level for 15 years. So
Okay,
let's
10
keep
more
that
seconds.
going. Let's not put any of that at risk in this general election.
Thank you. Before we finish off, I think I'll just